Hey everybody, this is Bill, Blitzmolen Fab. Today, I'm gonna do a short video, and what I'm gonna do, come under the car here, is I'm gonna change this ball joint and this ball joint, and then I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna change this ball joint and I'm gonna change that ball joint. And what started this whole thing was I went to wipe the grease off of this ball joint, and look what happened. The rubber that's around there, the rubber seal that keeps all the grease in on the ball joint, is just totally falling apart and paper thin and breaking. I mean, I can pull it right apart. It's just so old and screwed up. When you twist these, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. This one is tight up against this bar, but it still should let this twist. They don't want to twist, so they may not be that worn out. But what I did is I ordered a new set of them, just because I'm under here, and you know, I just did the A-arms, so everything's new on the A-arms. So I figured I would go ahead and just do the ball joints. What I'm waiting on right now is these are the adjusters. I could have used my stock adjusters on both sides here. They're just a little chewed up, but not really a big deal. All the ball joints have to do is screw into them. I just figured since I was getting ball joints, I'd grab the adjusters with them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the cotter pin out, which is right here up on the top, and loosen this nut up, and then I'm gonna do the same here. I'm gonna remove this cotter pin, loosen this nut up, and do the same thing on this side, and then I'll be back and I'll show you guys how I'm gonna take them apart and try out a new tool that I just bought. So I'll be right back. All right, I got the cotter pins out and took these nuts. Like I said, just loosen these nuts on these ball joints. This one up here is loose, just left some slack in them. And I'm going to go over and grab my ball joint tool. In the video I did about the A-arms, I showed you guys what I used to get those ball joints out, and I use these. Call them pickle forks, and I've got a couple of them, and I've had these for many years. And you just hammer on the end of these. You just stick them in the ball joint and hammer on the end. And I saw somebody using a kit. They were using this little kit from Amazon, and it's got a pitman arm remover, which is just a little bit bigger, and then it's got two different sets for, it says for 15/16 ball joint and 11/16. And so then it's got an adapter that just screws into these ends. One of the adapters is the striking handle, which does the same as this if you feel the need to really hammer on it. But the other adapter that they have screws in, and then what this does is this goes right into your air hammer. And so I grab my air hammer and just take this thing and just slide it right here into the air hammer. And so what I'm going to do is just use the air hammer and just pop them loose with the air hammer. This seemed like a really cool idea, so I'm going to get over here, get set up, get some air hooked up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm hooked up to air, and I got this thing wedged right in here to the ball joint, and I'm just going to go ahead and hit it. If you've got volume turned up loud, I don't know how this is going to translate into the camera or the video, so might want to watch your ears. Here we go. And there you go, dropped out. So that's all you have to do to get these things loose, and then you just take the nut the rest of the way off, pull them out, and I'll grab the new ones. And when I get my adjusters, I'm supposed to get them in, I believe, this afternoon. So I'll grab those and I'll show you guys how I just throw all this together. All I do is throw them together, screw the outer ball joint, tie rod end. I'm sorry, I keep saying ball joints. Still stuck back on the A-arm. These are tie rod ends. This is the short one, which is the outer tie rod end. And then there's another one. Sorry about that. I'll bring you around, show you this one. If you can see, this one is the inner, which is a long. So it has that on both sides. This is the inner tie rod end. That's the outer tie rod end. Keep saying ball joint. What a bonehead. So other side, same thing. This is the inner, goes towards the inside of the car. This is the outer, the short one. And so when I get my adjusters, like I said, I can use the adjusters that I have. I went ahead and bought Moogs. They're just kind of good quality parts. So these are the outers. This is your outer tie rod end. And I believe these big old long ones, these are your inners. Yep. These are your inner tie rod ends. So I'm just going to go ahead and assemble those. I'm going to thread them in here. I'm going to get them to about the same length. And so I'll be back when I get those together and I'll show you what I got. And all you do is set these up about the same as they are if your alignment is decent. My alignment is not. It's probably a couple inches off, I can tell just by looking at my tires. So one thing I'm definitely gonna have to do, you know, I can sit here and look down this tire, and to me this tire looks really straight. And then I come over to this side and look at that tire, and that's not even close to straight. So I'm gonna have to probably set up some string or something down the sides of this to see if I can't get these straight. I don't know why they're so far off. I noticed before I started building my engine that these did have a lot of scrub, and that these are new tires that I bought, but the old tires that I took off did have a lot of scrub on them, and that's probably why, because the alignment was so far off. So I'm gonna have to do something before I get rolling to see if I can't figure that out. But I'll be back and I'll show you what I got with assembling the tie rod ends. All right, everybody, I'm back. I got my adjusters in. Finally, they came in the mail. And so these are the adjusters. This is just a piece of stock that's split down the middle and has these clamps and lets you screw your tie rod ends into it from both sides. They do have different threads so that when you move this one way, they extend out, and when you turn it the other way, it pulls them in. That's how you adjust your wheels back and forth. That's part of your alignment. So all I did was took the adjusters, took this tie rod end, the inner tie rod end, screwed it in, took the other one over here, screwed it in, made them about the same length from here to here as the old one was, and I went ahead and put them in. So that's all I did. I went ahead and put the cotter pins in. I don't know if you can see, but there's a cotter pin right here. These bolts all have holes in them, and what you do is you tighten your nut down and then you put a cotter pin through here and I just snip off the excess so that these aren't sticking out. If they're sticking out, you'll grab your hands on them. I guarantee you'll cut yourself on them. So I put the cotter pin in there, put the cotter pin in this one, and screwed the grease zerks in. There's one here, and then there's one over here. Screwed the grease zerks in, and I put a little bit of grease in these. So short and sweet, that is how you change your tie rod ends. And so it's not a real tough thing to do, And if you just take your time and you're careful about it, and like I said, you set these up the same length, you know, from like middle to middle over here, and you set them up about the same length as your other one is set up while you have it out, you're not even going to mess up your alignment. So that's about all I got for this one. Just a little short, sweet, kind of pretty boring little video. So I hope everybody has a great day. I hope you're doing well. If you would, subscribe to my channel. It helps me out. Like the videos. And I'll try to keep on top of this and just be putting out more stuff. Got a lot of things going on, a lot of things to do. I just bought a used set of seats out of a Camaro. I think they said 2016 to 2023. So they're full electric seats. They still have the airbags in them. They have the side airbags. I'm gonna have to be real careful about that when I start playing around with them, if I decide to wire these things up, which I think I'm going to, because that's the only way I'll be able to adjust them. So I'm gonna start playing around, see if I can't get those rolling. I don't know if the back seats will fit in my car. They also have some really weird little mounting points. I don't know if you guys can see them. They've got these loops. They've got a couple catches to where you can pick these seats. The back seat will flip up. The top seat in the back will fold down. So I'm gonna have to look into all this stuff. I thought maybe I'll get on the internet, see if I can't look at some of the latching mechanisms. I may have to pick one of those up or get them out of a junkyard and maybe weld them in, you know, weld them into where I need them, you know, in the back of my car. So I'll probably start looking into that a little bit. That's going to be a video down the road. So that's all I got for today. So I hope everybody has a great day. Talk to you later.